your host, Stinky One from Delta Zero Productions, and we are here hosting the Valor Racing Community's Round 14, Season 1 in Mexico. Alright, so it looks like we're not going to have a formation lap. So we will just go straight into the race. So be ready. Oh, I guess there is a formation. Thought it said it didn't have one. My apologies. But that gives us some time to bring up all of our overlay stuff. So, not too bad. Don't know what's going on with the overlay. 1 second. All right, and we're off. I have here a person takes the lead. Oh, KO looks like he's passing Broken here. Takes the inside on him. Alright, so they're holding. Looks like KO takes that position from him, and with that, we have KO now in second, Broken in third. Person holds his pole position and then holds the lead of the race as well. We have Kudasai having an issue. Maybe a little bit of contact, couldn't tell. So now Broken takes a position back from KO. And Persons goes fastest because it's first in 21.7. He'll probably go down again in this next lap. We'll see who takes that position though. And Persons has already over a 1 second gap here, which is big. He's able to maintain that, make a huge difference. Looks like we had Renzo now on the back of KO here. Prestige goes fastest with a 118. Alright, so we still have Renzo on the back of KO. We have persons in broken bolts in their position that they pulled at. I believe Renzo loses one position and it was to KO. Phantom is already, there's a big gap from the front pack. Phantom falling and Kujisai all the way back there. We have Renzo now hunting him down. Alright, so now we have... Okay, now we have the HUD working again. Renzo here now, maybe gonna attack here. We're just waiting for the DRS. Yes, has the DRS now. Goes on the inside. Does he get the pass before the detection zone? We'll find out. He's already blinking. They used a lot of his ERS here, so if he does not have the DRS here, he might get repassed here. Oh no, but does have DRS. So should be able to solidify this pass here, but we'll need to make a significant gap on KO going through the front straight, because might just get repassed down there, just similar to what they did on there. Oh, and Broken takes a 3-second penalty already. So taking significant warnings this early in the race is going to hurt him later in the race. Looks like KO is still able to hold on the back of Renzo here. They're all on hards. Fallen and Kudasai are the only ones on a different one, which are the medium tires, which will have slightly better grip, but higher degradation as well. Here we go. It looks like now KO is also blinking. He's gonna get this pass going. Does not get it, but we'll have DRS going through the next corner. So we'll see. They'll be able to attack here. Oh, goes wide though. Is very compromised. I don't know if we'll be able to get this pass now because of that small error there. And we'll have to wait another lap to try to pass here. We have Fallen going into the pits, most likely going onto the hards here. And we'll try to stretch this. Oh, it had wing damage there. So we'll probably want to stretch that all the way to the end of the race now. And he's already fallen really far back. The huge gap from the leader here. We can see with the few guys in the back there. With the 60-second gap from the leaders there. So it's really big. As we can see here now, KO still on the back of Renzo. So Renzo's not able to lose. But looks a little further back now here. Not going to be able to get him here, but maybe on the next corner. If he's able to get it. Oh, he's going. No, maybe. Take a bit of a look. Wasn't able to pull it off. But maybe we'll be able to get it here. We can see they're both blinking, so they're both really low on ERS. So you'll see that blinking light on the back of the cars when they're very low on batteries. which they both are because they've been fighting this whole time. We can see up there Persons now with a 2.6 second gap on Broken here. So it does extend that lead out even further. Looks like we'll see if KO can try to do this again. So Renzo has been doing really good at holding his position. Not able to get rid of... Oh, it maybe... I don't know if it was over a second through that detection zone. We'll find out here. And it wasn't. So it's still inside of it. That was very crucial because if KO lost that DRS, it might not have been able to catch back up. It does look like Renzo has slightly a better pace here, but being able to hold on using this DRS. And here we go. Is he going to be... Does not look like he's going to be able to do it here as well. So we're going to go another lap behind this. You see Broken is now dropping that gap down. Was a 2.3, I believe, and now it's down to a 1.6 to 1.7. Maybe we'll be finding some more pace there. We'll keep an eye on that and we'll move forward if it gets closer. But right now we'll stick with the smallest interval, which is right here. But KO looks like he might be losing some, but still has the DRS, so should be able to make up that time. I don't know. We're going to be coming through this next detection zone here, and he is over a second there. It did not look like he got it under a second, and is going to only get the drafting, not the DRS, which is drag reduction system. So this is crucial here. Renzo is able to remove that time, and does not look like we're going through the detection zone here. KO might barely get it. We'll find out when we get through the next part. But this will be crucial because now the gap has already been established. This does not have DRS here. So Renzo will have a chance here to lose KO, and by doing so, getting a little bit of a breather. We'll be able to refresh that battery. We'll be able to, race their race. They'll have to defend. Be able to put some times down and maybe try to catch the guys in front. But with that, KO might have to try to do an alternate strategy through the pits to get in front. We'll find out. They have very similar paces. I just think Renzo's is a little bit, just a tiny bit faster. We have Broken with the only penalty. We have both Kudasai and Fallen both taking their pits already. We have only Phantom and Kudasai swapping positions here, and everybody else is doing the same. And with that, we have now. How about we just sit with? Let's just sit with Persons. Oh, looks like Phantom has an issue, and there's a safety car, full safety car here. Let's see who's the closest to a pit. So both. We have. Everybody slowing down, and we're doing a restart. So that gap that Persons had now has become null and void because they're all running hard compounds. They're not going to really, they can go in right now, but they'll probably still have to do another pit here. We have Kudasai coming into the pit. Let's go watch that. Here we go. He puts on mediums here. Might be able to extend that all the way out. It'll be very hard, close to the end. All right, now so we have the front runners coming in. So Persons comes in. Broken comes in. Renzo stays out. All right, and they put mediums on here. So I'm expecting mediums maybe into sauce They might try to extend that out all the way. I just don't think it'll be easy to. But it's okay. They could try to extend it out. Worst comes to worst, you just go into another pit and get actual softs. And then I think that's the more likely thing. We have something, we had a DNF for something. Kudasai disqualified for doing something. I have no idea. So now we're all only down to 4 drivers here. And with that, Fallen gets to pull himself out of a lap, because it was lapped there. And we have Fallen here trying to make up all of that gap now here with that safety car. Maybe we'll be able to get onto the back. Might be able to get onto the back of all these drivers, but we are doing another lap around. Gives Fallen another chance to get back onto the back. So they are... Fallen is on the alternate strategy to all of the drivers ahead. But what this does do is it allows Fallen to continue his race. He can come in for a pit late in the race, similar to what all the front drivers will probably do. Yes, and so at the moment we are just waiting. Yeah, so we'll find out here. We're getting close to the Sector 3 line, which will indicate if the safety car will be coming in or not. Alright, so here we come. We come across the line. And it does not look like the safety car is coming in. So we are doing yet another lap under safety car here. And this will probably this should be the last lap under safety car. As Fallen looks to be all the way, has almost caught up all the way, and will catch up by the end of this next lap. All right, and I think a lot of these drivers are thinking the same, that we will be starting our race after this one, after this lap here, with Fallen catching up here. Should be starting our race now. All right, so this will be the indicator. Yep, safety car in this lap. Here we go. We're going to start racing again. All right, and it looks like he's starting. He's going off. Oh, no, he's not. Okay, no, he is. Oh, and this, I saw a spin there. Looks like Broken is spun. Looks like KO gets is the beneficiary out of that. And no, Renzo is still fighting back here. And he takes the inside on him. So he's going to go inside, outside. And KO does hold that position here. And now KO benefits from that and is in second here. Renzo now in third. We'll see if he's able to fight back now after that. After losing the position after safety car reset. And we have Broken having to make up a bunch of time after that spin. Very unfortunate there. We should have the DRS being activated after this next lap. Persons does a 1:18.369. Oh, and Renzo takes a penalty here. He's the second penalty taker here in the race. But definitely now needs to pass Renzo. It's very important that he passes Renzo here now, because... Oh, and Persons takes one. So now Persons has one. KO is still penalty-less, which is really good. Sorry for that, guys. And there we go. Looks like, oh, Renzo, not quite. Why are we stuck on that camera? There we go. All right, and DRS is now activated. So Renzo will not get it here, but should get it on the next one. So the next lot, or the next DRS zone. So the one up here. So this is going to be crucial for Renzo here. The earlier he can try to get this pass off, the better. But we'll need to remember that after he passes, he'll still have to make a gap to try to lose the DRS toe. Or he's going to just drain all of his resources. So gets a better exit than KO here. Looks like doesn't get the DRS? That's weird because I'm pretty sure it was under it. Alright, we had Broken Pass Fallen. I missed that because I was watching the Renzo and KO fight. Oh, and KO takes one now too. So now everybody at the top besides Fallen has a 3-second penalty. Alright, so KO here now is on the attack. I mean, Renzo's on the attack here. It's already losing battery. Broken goes fastest with 1:18.1. Needs to keep doing those times because it's the only way he's going to catch up to Persons. And Renzo is already lacking battery here. He's already blinking. He's really trying his hardest to pass KO here. But with that lack of battery, he's going to be able to fight it after he catches him or passes him. That's something I'm curious about. So they're still fighting. Persons is now made a only almost a, 7-second gap here. So definitely gapping himself from the rest of the pack here. With Renzo trying to pass KO but is unsuccessful so far. Was able to do it after a few laps on the hards. So might take him a few laps again on these mediums. But it's costing them both a lot of time. You can see that. Wait, did Persons make a mistake? It looked like Persons might have made a mistake. The gap between them is now only the 3 seconds here. Alright, it looks like Renzo is going to get that, but it looks like KO is still fighting it. But has to concede here. Is this fighting? Is trying to fight back. Renzo goes on the defensive here. KO tries to do the over-under. But is still on the outside here. They're going to go into this corner together. But KO has to slow down just to make that corner. And Renzo does get the pass successfully off. But with that, Broken is now on the back of both of them. And we can see there, Broken just passes KO immediately. I think KO let him through. He's the faster driver, just had that mistake that happened. And now Broken is looking to attack Renzo immediately here with him blinking. He's with really low battery here. And I don't even think it's going to be a fight here. It's just going to be a let me pass through with Renzo empty on battery. We have Broken also blinking now here too. It's very important here to loses the gap on Renzo. But with that, KO loses it looks like loses the DRS on Renzo. So this is the best thing for Renzo right now, is being able to get away from KO. Now is able to get some free air and run the pace that they want to run. Now we have Broken back into second. The gap is now a 5-second gap. We'll see if he's able to do it. And with that, Renzo is actually back in the ERS, the DRS zone, detection zone on Renzo. And Renzo takes another penalty. So now KO does not have to pass. Can actually just get on the back of him, make sure he stays in the DRS, and should successfully be able to get third here. Foreseeing without any without any penalties, that is. We're not sure about that. And Broken goes even faster with 117.388. Fallen takes another penalty, or takes his first penalty here, and now matches the rest of the group besides Renzo. And with that, we only have Renzo with a 3-second penalty, essentially. And KO is still holding on the back. We're gonna let's do a few laps here with Persons now. Let's do an inside one, and let's just listen for a bit here. We'll keep an eye on that Renzo and KO race, but. Looks like he's able to hold that position on Broken. So still with the 5-second lead here. So as long as Persons doesn't make a mistake, I don't know if Broken's going to be able to catch him. With that 5 seconds, it's a big gap to make up. We have Renzo looking to have pulled away from KO here. This is making KO happy here. I mean Renzo happy. We have fallen all the way back here now with an interval of 30. A gap from... Oh, Persons takes another penalty, so... And Broken did too. I think they took it almost simultaneously. We've fallen from the leader 45 seconds here. So... He's losing a big gap there, but... With that penalty... Broken and Persons have the same, so KO is the only one. KO and Fallen now with just 3s here. We'll probably see maybe a few more penalties here. It's going to be very important not to get penalties coming into this late stage of the race. If it becomes big enough, we could end up seeing somebody passing somebody, but just purely from penalties alone. We know Renzo's not going to want to do it because Renzo needs to make a 3-second gap from KO now because of that from that extra 3 seconds. And KO here now, it's very important that they don't overextend and get a penalty for exceeding track limits just like everybody else. All right, we'll hold you to that, Fallen. Fallen says that he's subbing if he gets a podium in China. Oh, something happened to Persons there. You're distracting me, boy. He drops all the way back behind Renzo here. I am confused on what just happened there. So now we have Broken with a lead. Renzo in second, and I'm not sure what happened there, but now Persons is in third. I'll have to watch that back to see what exactly happened. And KO is on the back of Persons now. And just like that, we thought... Oh, so did Persons get disconnected there? Well, do I have you as a... So we're going to interrupt this to try to see if we can help get Persons back into this race. I'm not sure if I have them as a friend. Does not look like it. So somebody else would have to do it. I am not able to for them. So I'm not sure if anybody's going to be able to get Persons back into the race, but with that, he's now only in third. I do not have you as a friend, so I will not be able to invite you. It looks like Persons now is passing Renzo here. So now is ahead of him. I hope Persons was able to get back into this race, but I'm not sure. But is able to pass Renzo, so now is in second here. And with that, Broken is in first with the 8-second gap here. Renzo in third, KO in fourth, and thank you, Fallen, for trying to add them to the race. I appreciate that. So we can blame a lot of your race pace, the lack of race pace on that, right? We'll just say you're... So we have persons coming in for another pit. Goes on to the mediums again. And now goes into fourth position. There's a 2.3 there. So pretty much the fastest lap you can do. Or fastest pit you can do. In the game. And with that, Broken is now has a 10-second gap on the rest of the field. KO now with a 2-second gap from Renzo. We'll want to make sure that stays under 3. It's the way they could stay on podium and get the Ferrari 1-2, because that's what we're set for at the moment. Oh, it goes wide there. Maybe gets a warning. Gonna have to keep an eye on that. KO is going faster than it normally does, so it is trying to stay in that 3 seconds probably. Broken comes into the pits now. It's probably coming on to another set of mediums here. Yes, goes on to a new set of mediums. And this should take him to the end of the race here. And now Renzo goes in front. KO goes in front of him as well. And with that, he is in front of persons now. Let's see what the gap difference is now from between them two. It's 15, 14, 10. All right, we're going to get a more accurate one once he's passed. So about a 9-second gap, 8-second gap. So still holds that same gap. Oh, it's cutting down a little bit. It's about 8.5 now. So gained about a second back, I believe. But with that, they've both pit twice now. So their pit stops have been 2 each. Renzo and KO are still out on their single pit. We'll see if that'll work. They're on 15 laps though. 15-lap old tires. We'll most likely see them pit again. I don't expect them to stay out. I'm curious if Fallen will repit, or he's just gonna stay out on those hards and just hope they survive. So we can see here Renzo goes in, KO goes in, and I believe that was, yeah, it was just both of them. Broken passes him. He goes on to mediums. He goes on to softs. Renzo goes on to softs here. Persons does a 1:16.756. So he's pushing really hard here to try to catch up. But we have Broken out here looking like the Stag. Just driving. After that one mistake, has been driving really well. I know Persons had that unfortunate disconnect that sent him further back. And he's trying to push his way through the field to get back up there with him. We have Renzo able to come out in front of KO, and because they are on sauce, is going to be looking to push away from him, but has to be careful because they is on sauce. We need to make it last all the way to the end, and that's very important. This is a pretty high deg track, and those tires will have to make it all the way to the end from here. So we'll keep an eye on that gap. We'll keep an eye on the Persons and Broken gap here, and maybe let's sit inside with Broken here. Says 116.9. All right, so how about we just sit in some of these cockpits for now, and then just watch. There's gaps on everybody, so we'll just kind of watch everybody do their pace laps here. And we will just enjoy, and if somebody catches somebody else, we'll switch over. But we'll sit here with persons, and then we'll just go down the road for each lap until we're to the end, or if somebody catches somebody else. Renzo here looking like he's doing some decent laps, but isn't pulling away from KO like you would expect him to. I think that's why he put these softs on, was to try to get a bigger gap on him. He's gonna need to make it now, because as we get closer to the end of the race, we'll actually have the reverse where KO is gonna have a little bit faster pace than Renzo because of their tire types. Oh, and Renzo just takes another penalty, so now has to make up a 6-second gap. Oh man, that's not good. So Renzo is just getting hit really bad. These are like barely exceeding track limits too, so it's just really tough. These are tough ones to get called for, but it does happen. We want to stay inside of the track limits. Everybody has to do it. And sadly, Renzo has been taking the short end of that. Has been getting hit with 3 exceeding track limit penalties, multiple warnings. So they usually give you 3 for each penalty. So he's been pretty much gotten 9 warnings there. Alright, so now let's follow KO. KO has been doing a pretty good lap. Pretty good laps, being able to hold that gap from Renzo as good as possible. These medium tires seem to be doing really well here, but is not managing his ERS at all. That thing was empty. I've never actually seen that thing at 0 before on a driver this early. But he's done it multiple times here now. He's just pushing laps. If he makes a mistake here now, though, it's going to hurt him. Goes really wide there on that corner. Gets compromised for these two. He's maybe going to lose a bit of his bit there. We are going on to the last few laps here. Fallen takes another penalty. And KO is now the only one with 3-second penalty. Alright, so KO is coming in to the last... up to the line. Alright. Does lose a little bit. I think he lost a lot more than he normally does on that one. Person takes another penalty here, and that's going to cost him a lot. So even though he's been slowly catching broken, now with that penalty, it's looking even harder. Looking less likely that he's going to pass. He's going to catch up to him. KO takes a penalty, so now everybody is back reset to 6. So anybody with 6 is pretty much at 0. We only have the 3s here, and now this is gonna hurt KO, because KO had 6-second gap. Now it's only a 3-second gap, and now it actually matters again because he does have a 4-second difference again. So that is very crucial that KO lost that puts him back in there. So over here, Fallen is coming into the last few corners here. He is a lap down, I believe. Comes through the line. Alright, so now we're back on Broken here. Broken has been showing some good pace. Persons looks like his pace is just slightly better, but that doesn't matter when you're in front here. He gets to set his pace. You could be saving his tires. Could be a lot happening when you're in the front. The main thing you want to do is not make any mistakes, and that's the crucial thing, is just making sure you aren't making a mistake. And Persons is slowly catching, but you got to catch him and then you have to pass him, and catching somebody is one thing, passing is another. As we follow Broken into the last sector, this is sector 3 here. We're gonna go across the line and then we'll switch back to Persons here. Alright, we come across the line. He's about a second off his own pace. And Persons does have the fastest lap here. Alright, and as we follow here with Persons now, it gets the time down to 4 seconds here. And it does look like he might be able to, and there's the spin. And it looks like the chances of catching up to Broken is now a little bit murky now. I don't think it's going to be possible now. Broken has to make a mistake, I believe, to get Persons back into this race. But with that, we have Renzo now trying to catch back up, trying to get that gap, but does not need 6 seconds anymore. So just has to make it to the end of the race here. And it's just crucial that they make it to the end of the race on these tires. Don't know the wear on them. We're getting close. The tires, we've been doing 7 laps here on them. It should be okay to do another 2. It might be, the pace up to the end might be a little bit worse off. We have only had the position change of Fallen going up 2 and Broken and Person swapping position there. Now we are following Heyo here. He's been doing a really good job. Does look like he might be getting outside of the reach of getting a podium here, but nonetheless has done really well. Has been able to do a really good job. I think had slightly worse pace than Renzo and was able to still compete against him. And is still competing because anything can happen. A penalty late here would be crucial. And I think it's just trying to make sure you stay near that gap. Keep that pressure on Renzo here. And you never know. Mistakes can happen. We're getting into the late stages. The softs are now going to start getting a little bit understeery. You're going to start sliding out a bit. As we cross the line here. Does look like Renzo has been able to pull a good amount of gap to help them for the last 2 laps here. Gonna make it it's gonna make it difficult here for them, for KO to catch up. We have Broken now not having to push. Doesn't need to push as hard, just needs to get to the end of the race. We're coming in We'll sit on persons. Once we see Fallen going on to the last lap, we will switch over and watch that last lap with Fallen. Alright, so let's switch over. Let's turn this back up. And let's watch the last lap with Broken, who is able to make up that mistake after the safety car reset and gets first, has P1 right here. Does not have the fastest lap though, but we'll see if he's able to do a one lapper here to maybe try to get that. Let's see, once he goes through this first thing, no, it does not look like he's going to be able to. He's plus 0.4. I highly doubt it, but it is coming into the finishing lot. Going through sector 2 here. We have the overview. Just like that. Oh, he is actually under his time here. So makes up a lot of time in sector 2. And as we come into the stadium section, we have the... Oh, and he's... I don't know. That might have compromised him. I don't think he's going to be able to get it here. We're coming to the line here. Does go faster, but isn't fast enough, but gets the victory. And we had Broken go across the line there. We have persons here coming across the line. Does still get second. Does take a penalty. Holds fastest lap so far. We have Renzo making a mistake late in this race, but should be able to hold the position as long as he gets across the line here. Has a 4-second gap on KO. KO's coming in. Gets across the line. And we have Fallen coming in. Oh, everybody's doing that same little twitch at the end of that last corner. I think a lot of people's tires were getting worse for wear. But with that, we have Broken Hypocrite winning the race here. Broken takes driver of the day as well. All right, and it was Broken, Persons, Renzo, KO, Fallen, and our 2 DNFs was Phantom and Kutasai. All right, and with that, I'd like to say thank you for joining us here for the Valor Racing Community's Round 14 Season 1 in Mexico. And I will see you guys all next week. Thank you.